For the first 30 seconds, here is exactly what this video will reveal. A Spider-Man story that starts playful and familiar but slowly spirals into something far more intense. Exposing the moment when Peter Parker pushes himself beyond his own limits, why his actions feel justified at first, how humor and good intentions blur into obsession, and why the consequences of going too far end up changing everything, proving that even the most beloved hero can cross a line without realizing it until it is already too late. Spider-Man has always lived on the edge, swinging between responsibility and recklessness, joking through danger while trusting that his instincts will guide him back to the right path. And that balance is exactly what makes this story so curious and intriguing from the very beginning. At first, everything feels normal, because Peter Parker has always been the hero who gives a little more than he should, who stays out longer, who ignores his own exhaustion because someone else might need help. And the story cleverly leans into that expectation, making his early decisions feel admirable rather than alarming. What makes this narrative so engaging is how subtly it shifts tone, because Spider-Man does not suddenly become cruel or evil. Instead, he becomes convinced that pushing harder is the only way forward. Crime feels endless, the city feels louder, and the pressure to be everywhere at once starts to distort his judgment. Peter tells himself that skipping rest is heroic, that ignoring warnings is necessary, and that questioning his own limits would mean letting people down. And this mindset is where curiosity begins to turn into unease. Humor remains at the center of the story, because Spider-Man's jokes never disappear, but they start to sound different, sharper, more defensive, more desperate, as if laughter itself is trying to keep something darker from surfacing. The funny moments still land, but they now sit beside a growing tension, making the audience wonder whether the jokes are meant to lighten the mood or distract from the fact that Peter is slowly losing perspective. This contrast between comedy and creeping intensity is what keeps the story endlessly watchable. The turning point begins when Spider-Man starts redefining what necessary means. Because every hero believes their actions are justified, especially when they are winning. Criminals are stopped faster, threats are neutralized more aggressively, and results seem undeniable at first. The city feels safer, the headlines look positive, and Peter convinces himself that effectiveness matters more than restraint. This is where the story becomes fascinating, because it shows how easy it is for good intentions to blur into dangerous certainty. Curiosity deepens as consequences begin to surface in unexpected ways, not through immediate disaster, but through subtle changes in how people react, how allies hesitate, and how trust begins to fracture. Spider-Man notices it but dismisses it, because admitting doubt would mean slowing down, and slowing down feels irresponsible when danger never sleeps. The story expertly highlights how momentum can become a trap, where stopping feels more dangerous than continuing, even when warning signs are everywhere. One of the most intriguing elements of this narrative is how it explores control, because Spider-Man starts believing that only he can fix things the right way, and that belief quietly isolates him. Responsibility, once his moral compass, becomes a justification for pushing past boundaries. The mask no longer feels like a symbol of service, but like permission, and that shift changes everything. The audience is left watching a hero who is still saving lives, still making jokes, but slowly drifting away from the values that defined him. The shocking consequences do not arrive as a single catastrophic event, but as a chain reaction, because every step too far creates ripples that Spider-Man cannot fully undo. Relationships strain, trust erodes, and the line between protector and enforcer becomes dangerously thin. The story never paints Peter as a villain, which makes it even more compelling, because it insists that crossing the line does not require malice, only certainty and exhaustion. What keeps the story engaging rather than depressing is its self-awareness, because even as things escalate, there is a strange humor in watching Spider-Man rationalize choices that clearly worry everyone else. The audience sees the irony long before Peter does, watching him insist that everything is under control while juggling more responsibility than any one person should carry. This creates a fascinating tension, where you are entertained, concerned, and curious all at once. The moment of reckoning finally arrives, not with spectacle, but with realization. When Spider-Man is forced to confront the fact that the consequences he feared least are the ones that hurt most, the city may still stand, the villains may be defeated, but something essential has been damaged, something that cannot be fixed with strength or speed. This realization hits harder precisely because it is not dramatic, but deeply personal, reshaping how Peter sees himself and his role. By the end of the story, Spider-Man is not broken but changed, carrying the weight of knowing that going too far does not always look wrong in the moment, and that the line between heroism and overreach is thinner than anyone wants to admit. The jokes return, the swinging continues. But there is a new awareness beneath it all, a quieter understanding that power without restraint can cost more than it saves. This is why this story resonates so strongly, because it takes one of the most beloved heroes ever, created and explores a very human flaw, the belief that doing more is always better, and the fear that stopping means failing. It proves that Spider-Man's greatest challenge is not strengths, speed, or villains, but knowing when enough is enough. If you enjoyed this funny, curious, an intriguing breakdown of a story where Spider-Man goes too far and faces shocking consequences. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into superhero stories. Comment below with your thoughts on whether Spider-Man crossed the line, and share this video with someone who believes heroes never make mistakes, because sometimes the most important lessons come after the line has already been crossed.